And I thought that it was important for us, Larry, this time around right here to kind of just, sort of just call a timeout on this whole Brandon Aiyuk thing. Because what we have here is a very careful negotiation that is being interjected with what I think is just manufactured drama. And if the manufactured drama is coming from like Team Aiyuk, it shouldn't be. If it's coming from content creators and people looking for clicks and blogs, like, I get it. I guess that's how people get attention to their page. But the truth is Brandon Aiyuk either will or won't be traded. Like, I know that doesn't sound like expert analysis, but that's where we are here. It either is or it ain't. And I think both of us, let's start with this. We both agree, hopefully they do find a way to bring him back. But if they don't, let's talk about some options, what those could look like in day one with an aggressive trade, what they would look like on day 2 or 3 with some players that we both like who could fall to the 49ers in this draft. So,
well, people can't help themselves. People can't help themselves. They see a report that he unfollowed the team, and I saw the guy who put out the tweet, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm really trying to get this right." Well, stop trying so hard. Stop trying so hard to make news, and just comment on news when it happens. I mean, if you want to say it's your opinion, then it's very easy to put out a report that I believe that Brandon Aiyuk's going to be traded. But to make it seem like it's like you're reporting news, like you are Adam Schefter, you are the late John Clayton,
right.
You are the late Chris Mortensen. It's like, no, you are not. And you don't have those connections. And it's like, I never, and then people lose their mind both ways. I mean, there's the people who lose their mind. And then there's the people who lose their mind who are like, see, the agent said, he's not going anywhere. No, that's not what the agent said. He said the agent said that he never demanded a trade. So the agent never demanded a trade. The 49ers, I don't think are necessarily wishing for a trade, but this is a negotiation and he could be traded. So, I mean, it's just like, it could still happen. It's like it's hilarious when these things happen. It's like, then there's a denial and people are like, see, he's not going to be traded. No, now you're missing the boat there. It's not that he's not going to be traded. It's just that the agent didn't demand a trade. He's refuting the report that they've demanded a trade. Doesn't mean he won't be traded, but it doesn't mean he will. So it's like, it's like in some ways, it's like everybody's wrong on this.
Yeah. And look, I understand that there's a beast that needs to be fed. And honestly, the whole thing about Brandon Aiyuk, because I do see it from both directions. As much as I'm on team bring him back, if they don't bring him back, I will understand why. And I see the path out of not returning Brandon Aiyuk could be beneficial to the 49ers going forward. It's not like Brandon Aiyuk leaving the 49ers has them missing the playoffs, right? Like, he's a very important piece, but he's not the end-all be-all of this team's offense, which is one of the, I'm guessing, negotiation points that Parag is presenting, the team that throws the ball the least in football. Again, if they're making the argument that they don't need to spend as much on their wideouts because they put the ball in the air less frequently than any other team in football, I would almost say it's the other way around. Like, if you're throwing the ball that infrequently, it capitalizes how important each and every throw really is. So you want a guy like Brandon Aiyuk out there, but he's not irreplaceable. He is.
Well, but the thing that I think, the overarching, thought on this is that the Niners are trying to win the Super Bowl. So, yeah, they have contractual, situations. Yeah, they've got challenges with the cap, but are they really going to send away their best wide receiver inside their Super Bowl window? Seems very, very unlikely to me.
Well, and it's the last tap on that Super Bowl window's glass under the way that they're currently built. Both sides need to just zip it. If there are any leaks coming from Team Aiyuk, just stop it. And the 49ers, do themselves no favors by, and I don't think the 49ers are putting any rumors out there about him trying to create some innuendo or anything like that. It's just, I think it's just people talking, and I don't
just interest. It's the NFL. It's
Right.
a lot of interest in the NFL in the offseason. The Niners are an iconic franchise that just went to the Super Bowl. They have a massive fan base, and this is a subplot that could involve, if there is a trade, any number of teams. There's a bunch of teams out there that would love to have this player. You know what I mean? If this were a totally mediocre player, it'd be one thing. It's an all-pro receiver. Steelers could use them. Giants could use them. Chargers could use them. Chiefs could use them. I mean, there's 5, 6, 7 teams out there that are really desperate to get better at wide receiver right away, whether it be in the draft or via a trade. And so I think that's driving it, especially when you see this, trades that are just outlandish. Well, the 49ers would trade him for, a fourth and a sixth next year and a fourth this year. It's like, okay, Steeler fan, stop dreaming. Or
Right.
Okay, Giants fan, stop dreaming. So, it is what it is. We're in that time of the year. I get a feeling, Damon, that if we could chart the next 5 years, there always is going to be a story in March and April that gets pounded into the ground where there either is not a lot there or there is something there, but it's not going to be determined until the draft or afterwards. And NFL media is going to be all over it. Why? Because the NFL offseason is juicier than some sports in season.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. So I can tell everyone is that Larry and I are not here making stuff up about Brandon Aiyuk. We won't be doing it, and we will probably talk about him less between now and the actual draft because, again, there's a fork in the road. It only goes in 2 directions. He's back, he's traded. That's it. And we'll find out soon enough. Again, what are we? Next Thursday.
Right. A week from Thursday is the draft.
A week from Thursday. So we don't need a whole bunch of updateless updates between now and then. But let's talk about
if there's something of consequence, we will share it. We will comment like everybody else. But until then, it is what it is. And just, if you're in the camp that, hey, I'm afraid they're going to trade him, don't be afraid. There's a possibility they move him. But it would be on draft day because they see a foundational player shift, dropping. If Brock Bowers falls into the late teens, you might see them pull the trigger on something like this. Why? Because they may want to make a fundamental decision to move on from Aiyuk and go with Bowers as a foundational offensive piece. Outside of that, they're not moving him for just a couple of picks and, cap relief in the midst of their Super Bowl window. They're going to go for it and then make their move. That'll be my guess.